Hi, this is Rachel from rwcrafts.com. Today I am up on the Unity Stamp Company blog, and I'm going to show you a cheap pour crafter's way to do some foiling using your Unity stamps. Today I am using this cupcake stamp from the March 2015 Kit of the Month. You'll also see that bird stamp on there, and I'm using foil from Ranger. This was actually my first attempt at all to foil anything, and it turned out really, really good. So I thought I would turn on my camera and record it for you. So I start out with some Tombow Mono Multi-Glue, and I soaked it up using a blending sponge. You can also use, I did a makeup applicator as well, which worked just as well. And you cover the whole thing with your glue. Make sure it's saturated. And I'm putting it down onto Nina Solar White cardstock. And you can see when I pull it up, a little bit of the paper actually ripped up with it, and I will show you later in the video some tips to fix that. But I thought I would go ahead with this anyways. It ended up working out fine. Make sure you use a score tool or a bone folder to flatten out on the back before you go to the front. And then use your bone folder all over the front until you can start to see that the image is getting peeled through onto the paper. And there was a little bit that wasn't sticking, so it's easy enough to just put it right back down and rub the bone folder on it again. And now you can see how well that foil turned out on my cupcake stamp. I think it looks pretty cool. So I used the purple foil again from Ranger. And this is just a quick cleanup tool idea. You can use your X-Acto knife to just lightly scratch off the foil. But I'm going to go a little extreme, and I'm going to clean it up by just completely fussy cutting around this cupcake. So I'm just leaving a white border around my image. This will work better for the card design that I had in mind. You'll see that I scored a 5.5 by 4.25 card out of some navy blue cardstock. And here's another way to add foil. This is probably the easiest way. Just use some score tape or double-sided tape and apply that to your card. I'm going to do 2 strips here, and I want each of the strips to be a different color. So I'll start off with one, and you can see I leave the top on of the other strip so that this purple foil doesn't get on it at all. And again, I'm rubbing it down with my bone folder. And then just add it on to the end if your foil's not long enough. And now that the purple strip is done, I'm going to start on the next one. I want to make it blue. And I did the same thing. I just rubbed it with my bone folder. And the score tape is a great way to get a lot of different patterns. Score tape comes in many different sizes. I used a thin, this might be an 1/8 of an inch size here, but it comes 1/4 inch, 1 inch, and you can get different designs that way by just using the different widths. So this is my basic design of the card. I'll show you pictures of the finished card here. You can see I just added another strip of score tape and foil on the bottom. I heat embossed Happy Birthday, which is also from the kit. I'll show you more of my finished card later at the end. Right now I want to show you some tips on how to stop this from happening. This is when the glue really literally just ripped up the paper when I pulled the stamp up. So I did a lot of new techniques to figure out why that happened. And one thing that I learned is that you have to put the glue directly onto the stamp. So here is try number 1. So I put the glue on the stamp. You can see it was still kind of hard to peel off, but I'm going to give it a try anyways. Now I'm putting on a little more glue, dabbing it around with my sponge dabber, again, just like all the other ones. And I'm also working more quickly. One of the things I learned is that you can't wait too long or else the glue kind of starts to dry, and that will also rip up your paper. So this last one, I'm sorry that it's out of shot, but I put a lot of glue. It is saturated. You can see that entire stamp is just completely white, and it peels up very easily. Not a single piece of paper was ripped. So definitely the more glue, the better. I do believe that you could do this with any of your glues. I always use the Tombow Mono multi-adhesive because it's what I always have on hand. So you can see this one had the least amount of glue and it didn't get very much coverage. And this one had the most amount of glue and it gave me amazing coverage. You can see how great it got in all the hearts, it got the banner perfectly, it got all those little dots. Definitely the more glue, the better, and that's what I'll be doing with all my other stamps and foiling from now on, is putting the glue directly onto the stamp. And here's my finished card. I ended up cutting out a second cupcake and putting it on with some foam adhesive and applying that silver twine in the background. So I hope these tips and tricks help you. Make sure to use your Unity stamps when foiling. Thanks for watching. Bye.